Good evening, BookTube, YouTube. This is Johnny. It's been a couple of days since I made a video. I've been kind of out here in the wasteland, floating in the dead zone. It is a Monday night here in West Michigan. It is August the 26th, 2019. It's 10:20. It is raining outside. It is cold. It's like early autumn weather. And I thought I'd make a video since I don't usually go to bed until, one thing I don't like going to bed at night. I go to bed at night because I have to. I can't stay up late. Last night I read almost until midnight. I was reading the Bayou Trilogy by Daniel Woodrell. I finished reading last night Under the Bright Lights. It says here in the back, in the parish of St. Bruno, it's kind of like Louisiana in the 70s. I get the feeling. The women are fast, the men are faster, and the double dealing is a way of life. Ren's shade is an uncompromising detective swimming in a sea of corruption, the stalwart presence that every crooked town sorely needs, especially this one, as Shade takes on hitmen, porn kings, a gang of ex-cons, and the ghost of his own checkered past. These three visually powerful novels pit long entrenched criminals against the hard line of the law, brother against brother, two vastly different sons against a long absent father. So I read the first one, which was Under the Bright Lights, and I started reading the second one, Muscle for the Wing. Now, I did finish reading his Tomato Red by Daniel Woodrell, and I really enjoyed this, even though it left me kind of depressed. Just how people get kind of, certain people get a certain way of life, poverty, no education, no job skills, drugs. It's just a dead end. And but it was a good read. It's like, it's one thing I was thinking about. I watch a lot of booktubers, and I don't really have that many experiences of having a bad read. Now, I might read a book that I think could be more richer prose, a better development of character, of plot, of story. But one thing I'm really into is the language, the words, how they depict and describe their world, wherever that world might be. It could be the world of living in a holler, which is like in Kentucky or Tennessee or Mississippi and the backwoods and that kind of world. Or it could be a different world, like, for example, what else I've been reading? Well, I don't know what else I've been reading here. What I brought here basically is what I was going to show, thrift store books. I didn't show all the books I've been reading. I did get a book yesterday morning. One thing, we watched our granddaughters. Well, we watched our son's dog, Ollie, all week. And then Saturday all day and Saturday night we watched Josie and Cora, our granddaughters who live down the street. Our son our oldest son Caleb and his wife Emily were out of town attending a wedding in Boston. But Sunday, my wife wanted Sunday newspaper, so I went downtown to Rita's World, which is a family-owned bookstore downtown Holland. They have newspapers, magazines, children's books, all kinds of books. But while I was there, I picked up this. I've seen it on BookTube. I've been having it on my list to buy for a while, and I picked it up. It's called Ducks, Newburyport by Lucy Ellmann. So I was reading this the last couple of days. Very postmodernist, one continuous sentence, stream of consciousness, no plot, no character. But I've read a lot of novels like this over the years, so it doesn't really bother me. It's like I was thinking today, it's like our life. Sometimes we don't know the plot of our lives. We don't know the ending. But as a Christian, you could say, well, we know that God has a plan for our life, that we were born. It's like if you believe in the doctrine of election and the doctrine of predestination, you believe that you were always destined to be, that God created you because you were chosen to be either a vessel of mercy or a vessel of wrath. And that your life, that when you were born, it wasn't by accident or by fate, but that it was in God's will that you be born, that you come into this world, and that you live, and that you live out your many years, wherever they are, and then you die, and then you face the eternal destiny, heaven or hell. But sometimes you go through life and you really don't know. You just gotta live by faith. You don't really know what's really going on, but you do have faith that God knows, and so you take comfort in that. But anyway, so I was reading this, and I have been going to thrift stores. First of all, today I volunteered at the library used bookstore, the Book Nook, and I brought home these used books today. I found this book, I read about it, and it's called Between You and Me, Confessions of a Comma Queen by Mary Norris. She worked for the New Yorker. She was like an editor, and this is her memoir. So I got that, and then I picked up a Chuck Palahniuk, Haunted. I collect him, and I didn't have this one in my Chuck Palahniuk collection. When I cataloged this in my library thing, 6,000 people had this. So, and then I picked up at the Book Nook today this book, Cubed, The Secret History of the Workplace. I know it's kind of I like reading about all kinds of things, architect, work, American history, I don't know, the birth of The Office. You ever thought about how the birth of The Office or the white blouse revolution, about the secretaries, and I don't know, it just looked kind of interesting, so I got this. Cubed, The Secret History of the Workplace. And so I got those today. Now, Friday, I got at the Book Nook, I got this book when I volunteered Friday. Now, today I volunteered Mondays from 10 to 1, and I do it on Fridays at the Book Nook from 10 to 1. And I got these last Friday, The Brother Gardeners, Botany, Empire, and the Birth of an Obsession by Andrea Wolf. Now, I already had in our library this book that I got last year, The Invention of Nature, Alexander van Humboldt's New World by Andrea Wolf. This is her newest book. This is an older book. So, but I really got into this. I read about 187 pages and I got sidetracked. But I really want to get back into it and I want to get into this. And then I picked up at the last Friday Charles Bukowski Shifting Through the Madness for the Word, the Line, and the Way, new poems. I'm really into Charles Bukowski, and from my collection I got this. And then my today, well, then I went to the thrift stores Saturday and I found this book. I already had this. This is by Camus, The Plague, the novel, but I like the cover. And this will go into the roving library in my old Dodge van. And then I found Bertrand Russell, his essays on religion and science. This is philosophy. And this is the receipt. I forgot to put it in I put all my receipts into my folder. All receipts go in there, even receipts from books. When I get a CD, I put the thing there. Like I got the Bob Dylan Hard Rain CD, and I got a CD, what do you call it? When two groups do together, a collaboration between Uniform and The Body, which are like industrial, punk, thrash, death metal, noise kind of group. Then I picked up at the thrift store last week The Handmaids of Desire. This is a novel by John L. Huderex. And I was surprised how many novels. I never heard of this guy. He is an ex-Jesuit priest. And I don't know, it looked like a really interesting novel. So I picked it up. It only cost me $0.25. Then I picked up The Irish Americans, A History. I don't know. I read a lot of Irish writers, and I read about Great Britain. I read about Ireland, Scotland, France, Spain. I don't know. So I got this for $0.25. Then I got this big book for $0.25. The Great War, Civilization, the Conquest of the Middle East by Robert Frisk. The Middle East is always in the news, and this looked really interesting. It was only, I think 90 cents. And then I picked up Edward O. Wilson, The Diversity of Life. I just showed you one of his books. It's like natural history. So I like reading about natural history and things like that. So I got those at thrift stores last week. See, I'm showing you these tonight, even though it's late. It's a Monday night. It's like this is a Monday night reads in a used book haul. I want to get these down on the lower level because they've been bugging me. They've been sitting in the living room on my to be read pile, or books that I keep up here to look at and to read as I drift through the dead zone. My wife DNF'd this book, and she was going to tell me to take it to the Book Nook. But I don't know, I kept it. I might read it. The Little Paris Bookshop by Nina George. I don't know. I kind of looked at it. I don't know, I might read this. My wife also today she was out doing errands, and she stopped at Bibles to Mexico thrift store, and she got me this book, Madame Bovary by Flaubert. This is I already had this, but this is a New York Public Library collector's edition, and it has, things like, they have, the New York Library in New York City has, they have rare manuscripts, and they have these things. It's just a special edition, so it's kind of cool. She got it for like 16 cents. And then she bought me a Lillian Hellman biography. She's a very famous playwright. She's written 3 memoirs, which I have. And this is a biography of her. This is Lillian Hellman, The Image and the Woman by William Wright. So I put this in my Lillian Hellman collection. So yeah, she also got me The Life Class by Pat Barker. She's a British writer, winner of the Booker Prize. I have this in paperback, but now I have a hardback edition of Pat Barker, The Life Class. I collect her writings. So yeah, these are the used books. Yeah, but I've been reading tonight Ducks Newburyport by Lucy Hellman. It's like over 900 and something pages, but I like big books. Like when I read a book like this, you've seen, I've read New Testament theologies that are 1,000 pages. I've read 17th century Puritan books that are over 1,000 pages. It's not, to me, difficult to read 1,000 pages. I have Puritan works that are over 1,000 pages. But probably the difficulty is that there's no punctuation in this book. But that's, to me, I've read books like that. You think of The Tunnel by William Gass, or, I have other novels downstairs that are like this, and it doesn't bother me. Like I said, I'm more into the language, into the words, the images, and that's how my online diary is, Crooked Fingers. It's a stream of words. My Flickr account is a stream of images. My videos is a stream of videos. It's just everything is streaming, the words, the images, the photos, everything is in this huge cosmic individualistic flow of existence and being in the wasteland. So I look forward to looking at this. I will read it this week. I'm still reading Nell Zink, Nicotine. I'm almost done with that. I'm almost done with something else, but I can't remember. I do got a book coming in the mail this week. The Cold War Writers, something like that. It's a non-fiction book. So yeah, as far as in the mornings, I'm trying to read that Reformation commentary on Romans 1 through 8, doing theology with the Reformers by Gerard Bray, and I'm reading still that New Testament theology and looking at William Perkins, volume 7 of his works. But I'm still kind of spaced in the mornings. I just feel like when I get up in the morning, I write in my diary. Today I ended on page 765 for the year 2019. Tomorrow is August the 27th, 2019. If I'm still alive, I haven't died in my sleep, I'll be on page 766 tomorrow morning. So yeah, reading Religion and Science by Bernard Russell. I'll look at that. Well, I'm not going to look at this. I'll probably take it down to the lower level. But probably what I'm reading right now is this book here tonight. And I did take down the Bayou Trilogy, and I was starting The Muscle for the Wing, but I don't know. I've read 2 crime fiction, and maybe I should take a little break. And reading some poetry. So anyway, that's my book world. That's what's going on here. I hope you're having a good week. They had a good weekend. I thank you for all the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. Do hope that you're all doing well. And my wife works Tuesday and Wednesday. I have this video planned that I might do tomorrow night. It's kind of like a tag that's been going around in BookTube. You choose a certain year and you talk about the books about that year. And I wrote it out in my diary, and I might do that tomorrow night. So once again, I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. And until next time, bye.